nonsense that Jay-Z just put out. You know, Jay-Z was interviewed and he basically insinuated that coming from a single parent household leads you to having more adverse reactions to the police. And I think all of that just shows this man don't know what he's talking about.
Man, set your ass down.
Up in the studio getting blow to the truest shit I ever spoke. 21 gun salute.
The nonsense that Jay-Z just put out. You know, Jay-Z was interviewed and he basically insinuated that coming from a single parent household leads you to having more adverse reactions to the police. And I think all of that just shows this man don't know what he's talking about. So, you know, for me, I came from a single parent household and I don't have an adverse relationship with the police as a result. I think part of what we see is that Jay-Z is highly uneducated. I don't see how somebody who's so dope and then didn't graduate from high school can build like a moral compass of society that so directly seems racist.
What's up, people? It's 50BM / Devil's Advocate, back with another video. Before we go any further, make sure you hit that like and sub button. And at the end, if you found that the video was informative or just true, make sure you share it. Let's talk about it. First off, let me start off by saying, as a black man, and a proud one at that, one thing I've noticed is, when it comes to us as black people, to get a person or a group to turn against you or hate you is tell them something that they don't want to hear. And if you're one of those people or individuals that can't understand where I'm coming from when I say that, most likely you're the type of person that will turn on another black person just because they don't tell you what you want to hear. Now, as a black man and a father, one thing I know is that today, the black father isn't essential in the household. We're taught, generally, that mommy can be mommy and daddy. But guess what? She's just mommy. With saying that, and I hope everyone understands this, everything starts from the home. What you're taught, and especially what you see. More importantly, what you see on a regular basis. And we're saying that when you don't have a father in the household, guess who you're going to see all the time? That's right. You're going to see your mama, your aunts. On a regular basis, that's what you're going to see. That's who's going to indirectly groom you to be what you're going to be as an adult. See, if you don't have a man in the household, guess what? Generally, you won't know how to maneuver as a man should. That's why I say generally, because obviously there's a lot of black men that are able to go against the grain when it comes to that. But generally, if you don't have a man to teach you how to be a man, you won't know what to do. You won't have the tools. And see, this gentleman, with all due respect, stated that he came from a single parent home. So he doesn't fall under that umbrella. I agree. Just because, well, when you speaking, well, Jay-Z, I believe he was speaking in general. I came from a single parent home. Me nor my brother have ever been arrested. Never had issues with the police. But guess who else came from a single parent home? Mr. Jay-Z came from a single parent home. So he can also speak from the perspective of seeing a lot of things and understanding where those issues start. Now, as a black man and a man first, I understand the importance of my presence in my children's life. And if I'm not present in my children's life, there's a lot of things that they're going to miss out on. Because mothers, let's think about it like this. If the household molds you into who you are, and you're disingenuous if you're saying it doesn't. If you, as a man, if you maneuver like your mama, what do you think is going to happen? See, your mother, your sister, your cousins, female cousins, and your aunties can get away with a lot of things, including saying whatever the hell they want to say to men. And in that group of men, the police also fall in that category. But the thing is, if you see your mother constantly doing these things and you don't have that male figure to let you know that you can't do the same thing that your mother does, because guess what? two things are going to happen. Well, I'm going to say three. The least important is that you'll probably lose whatever job you have. But the most two important things that's going to happen is you're going to end up dead. And the best thing out of those worst things would be that you'll end up in jail, prison. And let me reiterate, speaking in general, I don't mean all single parent homes. Not all single parent homes have this issue. But when you go online, because the majority of us stay on Facebook or YouTube or any other social media platform, you'll see many black men, adult black men, maneuver like a woman would. I don't mean as far as mannerisms or their sexual preference. I mean just the way they conduct themselves. Whether it's talking to another adult, whether having an, I don't want to say argument, but a disagreement in a discussion. You'll see men try to outdo women when it comes to yelling. You'll see men go toe to toe verbally, and even worse, physically, because they haven't had that leadership in the household that will embed certain things into their brain as men you shouldn't do. Now, most individuals that get upset about this will probably be the main ones constantly speaking on white supremacy or blaming all white folks for all their issues. Now, granted, I'm not going to be disingenuous and say there's not racism or there's not white privilege. I know it's there. But one of the main things that will benefit quote-unquote white supremacy is not having men in the household, not having both parents in the household. That's going to benefit white supremacy or quote-unquote white supremacy. If you believe in it, that's going to be one of the main things that's going to benefit them. Because think about it. Women are being compensated, and it sounds bad, but fuck it. Women are being compensated for having more and more children. As far as state benefits, food stamps, WIC, welfare, all that good stuff. So if you reward women for being irresponsible and telling them that it's okay, and the one thing that you have to agree to is not to have the man in the household. And with all these so quote-unquote woke people on the internet going in on Jay-Z, you would think that they would know that this is the most powerful tool that quote-unquote white supremacy would have. They don't even have to do the work, because they know if we keep rewarding them, they'll keep the cycle going. Then you'll have what we have now. And see, the truth of the matter is, in most cases, if you have a man that's the head of the household now, it'll be just like having a woman that's the head of the household, because we've been raised by women. So what that does is make the household weaker, regardless of whether there's an actual man in there or not. See, but my thing is, why would there be an issue with a black man pointing this out? Is it because it's on the national stage? Do we feel like he's being an Uncle Tom or a coon? Those words I hate. But what you have to ask yourself is, technically, what did he say that was wrong? Take your emotions out of it. Would our black men be more productive as adults if both parents were in the household? Obviously, it's a rhetorical question, because if you think it wouldn't be, you have a bigger issue. And see, now what's happening is people want to point out his past of not graduating from high school or his drug dealing days, whereas you didn't hear an issue from these people speaking on it at all. Cats are speaking on it now. He been rapping about selling drugs. He been admitted that he sold drugs in the past. He let you know he didn't graduate from high school. But now, since you're pissed off and you're hurt about what he said, you want to try to throw this in his face? That's what it is. They'll love you 1 minute, say one thing to offend them, now they're against you. But to insult this man's intelligence because you don't like what he said is disgusting. Because why didn't you say this before? Why was there not an issue with him being a drug dealer and not graduating high school? Why was there not an issue with it before? Ask yourself that. But to sum it all up, do we just not want to acknowledge our faults in this? And I'm saying our because I'm a black person also that can't relate to this shit. But I'm saying our. Are we afraid to hold ourselves accountable? Or just do we want to blame the other side each and every time? Because you can't control what the other side does. But the one thing you can control is from day one, how you raise that male child into an adult. You have complete control over that. How about we start taking advantage of it? 50 BM, Devil's Advocate. Till next time, I'm out.
Up in the studio, getting blow to the truest shit I ever spoke. 21 gun salute.